Sometimes there are advantages to running a flow within Apex rather than doing the entire process with Apex code. A flow is much more easily maintained, and if you are in an environment with other staff who are not developers, they can maintain more functional elements of a system outside of the need for code review and test coverage. In other words, staff with less technical training can update simple processes in the system without having to rewrite any code. Here is a useful analogy. You designed the machinery for a soup factory. Only you and other engineers can make changes to the machinery which makes the soup. However, you want the soup manufacturers to be able to decide their ingredients. Changes to the ingredients will not affect the way the machines run, so the soup makers can easily change their recipes without reconfiguring the machine. A flow can be accessed from Apex using the interview method, as will be shown in the demonstration. One important thing to note is that this only works with auto-launched and user provisioning flows. A flow that requires user interaction, such as a screen flow, cannot be called from an Apex interview. Our demonstration example has an Apex trigger act whenever a new account is added to the system. When a new account is created, we want the account owner to be automatically updated via this flow. This way, our admin staff will be able to update the assignment process without needing to edit the code. Let's look at the variables in the Flows Manager window. Our flow will accept an account record as an input, then change its owner based on the logic in the flow. For our example, we will look up the first number of the account's zip code to see if it should be delegated to the East Coast sales user or the West Coast sales user. In this case, a zip code that starts with a 0, 1, 2, or 3 will be delegated to the East Coast user, but those that start with a 9 will be delegated to the West Coast user. Notice that this is an auto-launched flow. There is no way for this flow to operate unless invoked externally. Now to examine our trigger, a piece of Apex code that will run after every insert. In our trigger, we want to gather all the account IDs that have just been added, then send them to the flow in a loop. Before sending an account to the flow, you must designate the input parameters. In this case, the input parameter, input account, corresponds with the flow variable by the same name, input account. The flow parameters must be sent as a map as part of the flow interview method. The flow interview method also includes the API name of the flow itself. Now watch as I insert a new account. This account with a zip code beginning with 2 is correctly routed to the East Coast user. Within our flow, we have added a chatter notification that will also be displayed to verify that the flow has executed correctly. Watch now as I create a West Coast account. This account has been assigned to the West Coast user through the flow. We can verify this through the chatter notification that was posted on the account. The flexibility of flows can easily be displayed were we to add an additional condition. In this case, I am adding an additional criteria to attempt to route to Chicago if the input account's billing zip code begins with a 6. In this way, we can quickly make edits to the existing flow and the assignment criteria without needing to make changes in the code. From an architectural perspective, this procedure can be greatly improved by processing the accounts in a batch as opposed to one at a time, which will be the subject of our next video.